Welcome back. The federal government has promised to announce a new minimum wage by the third quarter of this year. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, made the promise at a national conference to mark the 40th anniversary of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Abuja. Our correspondent, Terry Ikumi, reports.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
The labor movement in Nigeria is 40, and the Nigeria Labour Congress is rolling out the drums. Former presidents of the labor movement in Nigeria, led by former Edo State Governor Comrade Adams Oshomole, led the list of dignitaries who offered advice on how the government can resolve the issue of the new minimum wage.
Minimum wages should be deregulated. I join you not only to protest against that decision. I went back to Edo and I decided by affirmative action that was the best way to show that wages is not a burden.
And having attempted to outline the desirability and the inevitability of reviewing the national minimum wage in our country, it may suffice also to inform you that the legitimate demand for the review of the 18,000 minimum wage is born out of the current reality of high cost of living, free fall of the naira.
And they got a response from the government.
This committee, of which I'm the deputy chairman, and of which the NSC president and the labor centers have about 9 representatives, have put up a timetable, and we do expect that by the third quarter of the year, a new minimum wage will be announced for the country.
Nevertheless, the guest lecturer and former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Tahiru Jega, has a unique proposition for the labor movement.
The labor movement needs to learn from its past mistakes and also from its past experiences, and to seize existing opportunities to re-strategize, revitalize, and reposition itself for impactful engagement with the political and governance processes for the forthcoming political dispensation in 2019.
Beyond the industrial actions and agitations for improved welfare, the labor union is challenged to be part of the political process and effect the change they desire. Terry Ikumi, reporting for Channels Television News.
A former aviation minister, Senator Stella Odua, has been answering questions from officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over alleged corruption. It was gathered that Ms. Odua, who is also a member of Nigeria's upper legislative chamber, arrived at the headquarters of the anti-graft agency earlier today. She has been grilled over contracts awarded for the remodeling of some airports in the country during her tenure as minister. The contracts, totaling about 9 billion naira, are said to have been awarded for the installation of security equipment at the various airports while she was the Minister of Aviation. The Department of Petroleum Resources in Jigawa State, northwest Nigeria, has sealed a petrol station for allegedly diverting 3 trucks of petrol in Kiawa local government area. In a joint operation with the State Security Service, the DPR officials forced open an NNPC mega station and sold its petrol to members of the public. Our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, has that report.
Within the last 3 days, 130,000 liters of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, was supplied to this petrol station on Olusegun Obasanjo Road in Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. There was no sign of activities here, not even a security guard to protect the facility. Only the DPR and the DSS trying to find their way into the station.
This station had diverted 2 trucks of petroleum products, particularly petrol, of 40,000 liters each. On coming again, we discovered that 50,000 liters have not been discharged. The status of the station is also at stake. As it is, 130,000 liters have not been delivered. That means it has been diverted.
This NNPC mega station in Dutse has been supplied with the product since the 19th of this month. but has not sold to motorists until the DPR forced the place open.
I've been here since yesterday. Unfortunately, they kept on telling us there's no fuel supplied to them. I slept here to get fuel, but they told us the one they have is for VIPs who have been coming to get the product while we wait outside the station.
The manager of the petrol station claimed that 1,800 litres was reserved for police and other security agencies, but the Department of Petroleum Resources argued that it has not received any written request from security agencies requesting any petrol station to reserve fuel for their personnel. Therefore, the DPR ordered that 1,000 litres be sold to the public.
We go to NNPC Mega. We discovered that they had some reserve of 3,000 litres, but we didn't allow them to keep the reserve. We requested they sell 2,000 and keep about 1,000 for strategic purpose.
Meanwhile, the DPR has sealed 2 petrol stations in Hadeja local government area of the state for selling the product above the pump price, while 37,000 litres of petrol was confiscated in various petrol stations across the state. Idris Jubrin, Channels Television News.
The youth of a couple of states in the South-South have gathered at different fora to stand for peace and support the democratic governance in their respective states. While the community youth in Delta State seek to uphold law and order, the Northern Senatorial District of Cross River State came out in support of their governor, where they were promised thousands of jobs.
And now we are much better because peace has returned.
As if to take a cue from Governor Ifeanyi Okowa to sustain peace in Delta State, youth under the aegis of Delta State Community Youth Association came together to the Oshimili Arcade, Asaba, to champion the cause of sustaining peace.
I want to appeal to everybody here present.
Highlighting objectives of the group, officials of the association believe it will serve as a bridge between the community and the government.
Delta State Youth Association is positioned to harmonize the interests of Delta youth and to check youth restiveness across the state, while synergizing with the government to attract development.
We must start to protect government facilities in our communities. We must start to welcome government facility to our communities. The areas that will stand against government program in our communities has gone.
The people of Cross River State to be manifest today.
It was a bigger stage in Cross River State as a mammoth crowd of sons and daughters of Bekwara, Obudu, Abanliku, Ogoja and Yala came together to support Governor Ben Ayade, who hails from Obudu and is the first governor from the Northern Senatorial District of the state since the present democratic dispensation.
I'm here to endorse His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State. We all know as the digital man. I want to endorse him for the second term.
This is the first time we're having our son in the seat of power as the Governor of Cross River State. And so this is even a belated reception for the people of Cross River North. And so we are here today to celebrate our own.
Impressed by the turnout, Governor Ben Ayade promises to create 3,000 jobs for the youth from that axis.
I need to create jobs. I need to create more jobs because I know that it's not everybody that has access to me in Calabar. This is your own governor. This is our turn. So because I am your own, I'm going to create 3,000 jobs today.
The event, attended by State and National Assembly office holders, sounded a note of optimism for indigents to benefit from the dividends of democracy in Cross River State.
And from there, we're moving on to the business news of the day. Here is Anne Nwawodo.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Ladi, and welcome to Business News. We begin with crude oil hitting a 3-week high today, following comments from Saudi Arabia that it will continue to curb production in line with OPEC-led efforts and strong demands from the U.S. prices were supported by a pledge by Saudi Energy Minister Khalid Al-Fili that the country's crude exports from January to March will be less than 7 million barrels per day. Brent crude rose to $67.60 a barrel today, and that's its highest level since February the 5th, while U.S. crude is up 42 cents at $63.97 a barrel. Meanwhile, Libya's National Crude Corporation has declared a force majeure on the 70,000 barrels per day El Field oil field following protests by guards. The governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, today signed the 2018 budget of 1.046 trillion naira into law. A breakdown shows that 347.03 billion naira is to be funded from the Consolidated Revenue Fund, and 699.08 billion naira will be from the Development Fund for Capital and Recurrent Expenditure. Presenting the 2018 appropriation bill to the State House of Assembly, Governor Ambode pledged that his administration will complete all ongoing projects and initiate new ones to consolidate on the development recorded in the last 2.5 years. Away from that now, the equities market has started the last days of February by a weak margin. The equities capitalization gained 3 billion naira at the close of trading today. To give us details, here's Layo Adegoke.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The last 3 trading days of February at the NSE ends Monday's session flat by 0.02% as marginal gains recorded by the banking, insurance and the consumer goods sector. This mitigated the impact of heavy profit taking which hit the oil and gas sector following the disappointing earnings result released by Total and Double One, formerly known as Mobil. However, on the price chart, Japan continues to ride on the investment deal with US-based firm Milost, which is also seeking the acquisition of two-tier lender Unity Bank, another top gainer of 21 advances. On the other hand, Cotville recorded the highest price decline out of 26 losers, while Cement Company of Northern Nigeria contributed the most significant volume to the day's transactions. And that's the Stock Market Report. I am Layo Adegoke.
As for other major stock markets in Asia and Europe, even US, they all closed positive today. But it's mixed sentiments for leading African equities. Let's take a look at the figures for today. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Uwaudu. It's back to you, Laddie.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks very much, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, reigning African women's champions, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, pull out of a 12-nation tournament taking place in Turkey over visa issues. That will be on the sports news. You stay on with us.